I could do without that we know this story. You realize I wish that Beyoncé would have kept these contemplations in her mind, as gone against a grasping spouse, and realize that I'm not the most terrible of what I've done it. Seems like Wendy Williams is tired of Jay's unseemly and harmful treated of his significant other Beyoncé. And it's accounted for that the intrusive television diva made an endeavor to change several elements and implied to Sovereign Honeybee about the potential issue her better half is having. It's anything but a mysterious that Beyoncé is the most lenient wife on earth, yet evidently there's a sensible clarification why she deliberately ignores Jay's treachery for a really long time. There is no question that Wendy approaches with these claims for an explanation. We as a whole know her own chaotic show with faithless ex-Kevin Tracker. Yet here, the fundamental inquiry, will Beyoncé stand by listening to Wendy Williams? We should dive into the subtleties to figure out. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Celeb Live Station. So Wendy Williams has returned to doing the thing she cherishes most on the planet, honestly examining the most dubious and shameful occasions in the Broadway please. I don't regard individual security, that is the reason I do the hotly debated issue. And obviously the television diva needs to send an advance notice message to our number one RB sovereign Beyoncé, who as Wendy would like to think got caught in a stifling marriage. And as per Williams, Sovereign Honeybee's better half, Jay-Z's, isn't finished with his relationships, so Beyoncé ought to prepare herself for one more open embarrassment and enormous measure of agony anyway. It seems like Beyoncé thinks she knows better and needn't bother with any counsel on her own life. I needn't bother with individuals to think for me. You understand what I mean? Like that is not. I've never been like that, and I absolutely never need to be there. Well, Wendy Williams is presumably not looking for any exposure and just wishes the sovereign of her just genuine serenity and inward joy, since Wendy herself had experienced unbelievable hardship with her own misfortunes connected with Kevin Tracker's disloyalty. And she demonstrates the way that nothing can change a chronic miscreant. And if begin to take a gander at the two couples, the Trackers and the Carters, you may truly notice may similitudes here, so it's no big surprise Wendy binds to shield Beyoncé from a similar aggravation she had persevered in the past. After she learned about her own significant other's twofold life, I had no one again to converse with except for the times presently were considerably more profound than they at any point were a major part of my life. Beyoncé and Jay-Z have gained the situation with illustrious couples of America. They're wedded for a long time and have been together for over 20 years. 2 or 3 has 3 kids together and can flaunt various fruitful joint efforts, as well as the affection for a great many fans across the world anyway, as Wendy accepts it's nothing else except for only a veneer. And obviously several elements are a long way from being ideal. Beyoncé has communicated her affection and esteem for her significant other commonly freely. She told in an episode of Next Section on Oprah's show, "He has helped me on such countless levels. Requested to have somebody that you very much like is so significant. And somebody that tells the truth, and it truly seemed to be an ideal marriage. Until the second, when the ramifications about Jay's disloyalty began to fill the press in 2016, when Sovereign Honeybee dropped her collection Lemonade, with the domes loaded up with many references to her better half's supposed undertaking. Obviously, it was difficult to eradicate the dreadful sensation of being deceived. And Beyoncé really discussed her agony through her tunes. The morning you click on the PC, you see this multitude of pictures. And it's all you consider is the image. The report about Jay's betrayal was all over the place. And in the end, the popular couple needed to some way or another location the developing hypotheses about separation and sharing resources anyway. In a stunning new development, the Carters appeared to put this dramatization behind them, with Beyoncé formally failing to remember her untrustworthy husband, the choice that made numerous eyebrows raise evidently, as Jay-Z persuaded his significant other things occur. And surprisingly, the most grounded couples are some of the time being broken by the tempest, despite the fact that there were individuals who accepted that this undertaking wasn't the one to focus on. And who yet Wendy Williams has a deep understanding of chronic miscreants through her own difficult experience she took in the example. And she needs to safeguard Beyoncé from a similar measure of agony, since there's as yet strain among her and Jay-Z be great. Regardless of whether we reference now. Right, is there pressure still definitely yet that occurs in an involved acquaintance? There have been theories throughout the long term that Jay-Z is controlling his significant other and monitors her on the grounds that for some individuals there could be no great reason for why Sovereign B, who can remain famous and rich, without this man, hasn't left him yet anyway. It seems like Beyoncé doesn't have the foggiest idea or comprehends her own worth since, even in spite of this multitude of ceaseless tales, she actually decides to remain with this person regardless of what he does, and only sort of processing what I was leaving and being torn in light of the fact that I never needed to leave. Plainly, Jay-Z affects Beyoncé's mentality. And he doesn't actually conceal the way that he and his significant other ought to remain together, notwithstanding all issues, since it's the main way for them to flourish, as Jay-Z expressed in one of his meetings talking about unfaithfulness. You need to get by, so you go into endurance mode. And when you go into endurance mode, what happens? You shut down all feelings clearly. Beyoncé isn't even permitted to show how much agony she is residing in. And it's in her agreement to continuously commend her better half and appreciate him anyway, knowing the level of their exposure. The card went significantly further with their mystery, and quit talking about their own life at this main leads fans to doubt that Beyoncé definitely is familiar with each issue. And this marriage is just a business plan. Perhaps for this reason, Beyoncé states that needs to gain from her own missteps throughout everyday life. And she needs no private guidance from the television diva kid is wearing and who she's dating. And everything that actually it's not your business. You realize such disputable proclamations just make individuals worried about Beyoncé's prosperity, since her marriage with Jay-Z is loaded with such countless significant warnings, beginning from their nonverbal communication, that some other rational lady would essentially take off from a person like Jay. As one individual remarked, he a deceiver to his significant other. I can't comprehend the reason why she remained with him. And another client added, he defeats the two universes and existence, with quite possibly of the most lovely and desired Lady Beyoncé, in addition to some other lady he needs, with this multitude of charges whirling for a really long-time life partner, overwhelms the press with pretty much every move she makes, yet she seldom addresses the press herself. In her 2014 narrative, Beyoncé's life is nevertheless a fantasy dream. The vocalist made sense of the disappointment she felt over bits of hearsay about her own life, and contrasted the present big-name environment with a climate of years past. Evidently, she doesn't maintain that anybody in the entertainment biz should supervise her around and above all Wendy Williams, who never passes up on an opportunity to remark on Beyoncé's life. They're perfect. And I can't stand when the bee colony gets all stingalicious on me. So despite the fact that Wendy's thought processes are only honorable now, and she believes Beyoncé should realize that these elements won't ever transform it, seems like the arm clean isn't in that frame of mind to pay attention to anybody, and albeit many individuals were attempting to safeguard straight and some way or another clue her that her marriage is all phony. The Grammy victor likes to do everything in her as own would prefer, and what compels individuals feel that Beyoncé realizes more than she says regarding her significant other's mysterious life and issues is Sovereign Honeybee's own articulation about intrusive paparazzi that don't give her family any protection. I feel that particularly now with the web and paparazzi and camera telephones, it's so challenging to keep up with secret. And that is so significant. Even seeing someone feel like not being that available is truly significant. Well, Wendy herself has been shutting her eyes on her own better half's treachery for a really long time, and it brought about a huge measure of torment and medical conditions that the previous television diva needed to persevere in the recent years. And Wendy trusts that the ideal opportunity for Beyoncé to say her evil presences would come too. And it very well might be past the point of no return such a long ways. As we can all observe, Sovereign B is hanging on and even figures out how to tolerate her better half's twofold long-lasting prior. And I was telling him, look, I'm truly concerned on the grounds that how would you sort out, as Beyoncé says, she doesn't maintain that others should play with her marriage since she and Jay-Z had concluded everything quite some time ago. As would be natural for her, we conclude all that my statement is my assertion, what Jay and I have, is genuine. It's not necessary to focus on interviews or getting the right photograph operation. It's genuine. Well, it seems like Wendy Williams can't save Sovereign Honeybee from an aggravation of a deplorability. And in the event that any new data is becoming spilled about Jay-Z laying down with another lady, who isn't wife evidently, it would be past the point of no return for Sovereign Honeybee to lie and imagine, yet you seem to be yourself. Applause. Well, really great for you, Carrie Underwood, you get by to fall. And you looked wonderful last evening. So Wendy's words about Jay-Z's new undertaking didn't appear to shake Beyoncé's trust in her own marriage. Many fans even hypothesize that Wendy's thought processes are not really honorable, and she needs to sting Jay-Z more than she needs to safeguard Beyoncé. Well, fans have proactively speculated that this marriage smells off-putting, and there's something different that keeps Beyoncé and Jay-Z intact. And it's not love, as one individual remarked. This isn't a marriage, this is a business plan. Additionally, apparently Jay-Z enjoyed teen young ladies, Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Charming Brown. And another client added, I accept that their relationship began as a friend relationship. However, at that point, it got serious years after the fact. They remained together for their children in business. Wouldn't be shocked assuming that their marriage is even an open relationship as of now. So perhaps these individuals are correct, and Beyoncé needn't bother with any.